going on, good people? Y'all know what time it is. This is the BOTB Live Show, Hump Day Happy Hour Tap In. Um, just kind of that midweek break. Y'all get to kick it with me and my brother and talk about some cool stuff and make our way to the weekend. So, Carolina, how you?
Man, shit, man, this damn pollen falling. I hate pollen, but like you said, we close to the weekend, so I could take a break. I ain't gotta go out there. I stay my ass in the house.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, we have some guests. Of course, y'all can see, and if you can't see, you'll hear from them here shortly. I'd like to welcome you guys both, or you ladies both, to the show. Sherry is returning, certified health coach, and first timer, hopefully not a last timer, our wellness nurse, Miss Jennifer. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you all?
Doing very well, thank you. Doing very well. So
Thank you.
I'm going to open the show with questions. Like, we're not going to do a lot of the internet talking points. It's a bigger question or a bigger situation. So there is a nationally syndicated radio show called The Breakfast Club. Charlemagne the God is one of the personalities. DJ Envy is one of the personalities, and we have Jess Hilarious, who is newer to that landscape, along with Lauren Lasado. Jess was hired to the Breakfast Club to be an on-air personality, but she was also carrying a child at the time. So she started, then she kind of went out on maternity leave, and Lauren kind of stepped in for her. Lauren did step in for her. Last night, Jess goes live and she feels like she's being played with. She's being gaslit. She doesn't understand why Lauren is still there when the job was hers. So she went on live to voice that to the public. The public had no idea what was going on. So I just want to know if you guys have heard anything about it.
I have not.
Okay.
No.
So it's easy to not feed into things that were said and the sound bites. But as a person who was hired, and for whatever reason, you were hired to a company, you had, we'll say, a medical reason for not being there. They still need somebody to fill that position. The person comes in to fill that position, and they're doing it well. And you may not have actually been on your A game because of whatever myriad of reasons. Do you, as the initial person that is hired, have an argument about the performance of the person that came in to help out?
I think that will be up to the management and that individual. I don't think that's something that needed to be addressed in the public right away. I hope there was some behind the scenes conversation, but sounds like she's a little salty, and she's still wondering why this individual is still here. She's back. It's like, okay, go home now, right? I guess that's what's happening.
Right. Wow. In more or less, that's what happened.
Wow. Oh, wow. Okay, that must be uncomfortable.
So, what are your thoughts, Jennifer?
I agree. I think the lady that was out on maternity leave should have a conversation with management to say, hey, what's happening here?
Yeah.
Not direct to both of the ladies. Neither one of them are in like in charge or I don't know. I don't watch The Breakfast Club a lot, but
Yeah, I don't.
business wise,
they're on air personalities.
Okay.
So there is a corporation. There is a leadership role. There is ownership. They all have bosses.
Okay.
It's not something that they created. I feel like in any other situation, if this was an Aflac or a Walmart, you cannot take that public. You cannot take your disgruntled feeling public, even if you're great at your job.
Right.
We're from South Carolina. South Carolina is an at-will state, essentially, and this is way before DJT. You could go to work one day and they could be like, all right, then clean out your locker or turn in your badge and you good. And there's nothing you could do about it.
Wow.
So I wonder about the behavior and the example this sets for people going forward and how they feel about voicing their opinions about their jobs online. Because we've seen a whole bunch of people do it, and we've seen things come about as a result of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't get your input, Carolina. How did you feel?
I had mixed reactions. One is they telling Jess not to look at the comments when you are a podcast platform or a radio platform and you are in the public eye. Your content is based off the public. So to tell her not to look at the comments and negative comments, you really can't do that because she's new to that genre of being a celebrity because she's a comedian. She's used to being heckled, but as being a host of a radio show, you're not really used to being heckled. And they were heckling her because she didn't read that well. She didn't deep dive into the news that she was broadcasting to the world. So with Lauren coming in, and Lauren is her background is journalism, so everything she says, her words are precise, her facts are pretty much valid. She has connections with what she's talking about. Jess is she's just doing that street conversation, like she heard this. She's just looking at the tabloids and the headlines and giving her opinion. Opinions are cool, but when you have somebody talking opinion and then you have somebody come in talking facts, like it kind of makes that opinion, like it kind of makes people side with the facts because they can research the facts. They really can't research your opinion. My thing, what I was saying earlier when Sherry was like, I heard y'all talk about mental health, is the Breakfast Club, their focal point in the last couple of years, especially with Charlamagne, is mental health. Mm-hmm. So Jess decided to do what she did by going live and airing stuff out. Well, they invited her on the show not invited her, but she was on the show and they had a conversation about what was going on with her. You can't cut her off and stop her from talking if she's trying to express how she feels. By y'all cracking jokes, y'all over talking her, that's part of mental health. And you can't have that be your platform and then disregard when somebody on your team is trying to express how they feel. Mm-hmm. Now, is Jess a little hood, little ratchet? Yes, she is. So her being professional, she did not do that well. Regardless if you are having a baby or not, if somebody hires you and within less than a year, you are out for 3 months and somebody comes in and performs your job better than you, that job is not going to hold you. You have no history with that job. She comes back and she does spot shows. She's doing a show now. She's not doing a show. She's doing a show and they come on every day. So out of 5 days, let's say you do 3 shows and then you go out and say on social media, today she says, well, she missed shows because she didn't feel like she was valued on the show. So why would you tell people you were missing shows on purpose? Like that's not helping your to me, that's not helping what you're fighting for. Now, if you've been on the team for 10, 15 years, then yeah, but It's not their fault you got pregnant. It's not your fault you got pregnant. But if a business is supposed to keep going on, they're going to go on with or without you.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, the only thing I feel like was done incorrectly is you took it to the public when it should have been a conversation that went on behind closed doors. Nobody in regular world should have known that was an issue.
Yeah.
She did say she did that, though. She did say she did that. She said that's what she said. She said she did try to take it behind doors, and nothing came of it from her point of view.
Yeah, it's tough. We live in a world, man, where I feel like feelings are trumping facts, and feelings are also used to justify certain, in a professional world. Everybody should be able to voice their opinions about how they feel. Nobody's going to do it for you. You're going to be your best spokesperson. But also, I think some of those things are excuses, and it's different scenarios, it's different situations where it can cause more harm than good.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah.
So it was just one of those things I wanted to bring up based on the conversations that we're about to have about your health, about your wellness, about your mental state, about your ability to perform.
Mm-hmm.
So that being said, since you are new, Jennifer, I do want you to kind of introduce yourself and go into your background.
Okay. All right. So I usually start with, I'm the youngest of 9, and that's important.
My bad.
That's okay. That's important because I was raised here in Florida, and on a farm. And if you think about like a working farm, that's how I was raised. So work ethic was really, really, really important, and to show up your best, and no matter what the situation and circumstances were. And I grew up in the 70s and 80s, and so our father just really instilled helping other people and being the best that we can be, no matter what that is that you were doing, and you need to go to work.
For sure.
You need to make your own. And so that's how I was raised. Again, very large family. My father was one of 13, and my mother.
So what's the minimum? Like, was he having kids to work this farm?
But if you think about it, but you think about your grandparents. I mean, they were big families, and so you had. Yes. And so absolutely. Because, there was no formalized birth control. Right. And so,
just no birth control. The word no, I can't do it tonight. All that birth control.
Yeah. Nah. Hey, look, your mom is a superhero for sure.
She was. My grandmother and my mother both were superheroes. Both of my grandmothers. But anyway.
I can't.
Anyway, I bring that up because because of what I've seen in my family as far as health. So growing up realizing that, my parents were taking medication. My grandmother, who partially helped to raise me, had several strokes into when I was about 12 or 13. She passed away mainly from having multiple strokes. Well, what I learned at that time is that I really wanted to have my profession, or I wanted to live my life really truly giving back and helping people. And so that's where nursing came into place. And it's the best profession for me. I love what I do. I love helping people. I love educating, empowering people to take their health back. And that's really what I've been doing for 35 plus years. Yes, yes, yes.
For sure.
Yes. And so I am still, because it's part of me. I am still on that journey, and going back to my father, be the best that you can be, right? And so that's what I'm doing, being the best that I can be. And sometimes people don't want to hear what I have to say, but I think if I show up in love, I know if I show up in love in a way that I express that I am helping, then that's all I can do. And so that's how I show up daily in what I do. And Sherry can tell you, I'm extremely passionate about helping our community and all communities, but our community to take their health back, we have control over this. We don't get a new one.
For sure.
Yes.
What's the age range between you and your siblings, you being the youngest? How old was the oldest?
We were all anywhere from 1.5 to 2 years apart.
So your mom was pregnant for like 6.5 years.
Yes. Yeah.
So was she back then? Was she technically the nurse of the house, or is that how you fell in love with being in the nursing field?
No, that love came when my grandmother, so my mother was an only child. So imagine, my mother's an only child. So, I wish we had more of that today. It was a multi-generational household and family where people actually helped to take care of the elderly and the young folks. The two most vulnerable populations of people that we have are our youth and our elderly. So with my mom being an only child, my grandmother just stepped in and to help my parents, because my parents were entrepreneurs, right? My dad never had a W-2. My father always worked for himself, always, never worked for anyone. And my mother only had one job. I think, and I'll say it this way, I think she really only worked for about 3 months. And my dad was like, no. So my parents worked for themselves. And so I grew up with the entrepreneurial spirit. All my siblings, most of them have worked for themselves, had businesses all of my life. So that's what I've done. And so that's what I know. But my grandmother, my love and passion to another level was when my grandmother became ill, who was my love. And because she nurtured me and took care of me and my sister that is next to me. We basically lived with her because my parents did have businesses and were, they worked hard. They worked hard, sun up to sundown. And so my grandmother raised us. And so when she became ill and we took care of her in the home for several years, and then she had another stroke, and then we weren't able to take care of her at home, and she was placed in a nursing home. And then I was able to watch the care that she received in the nursing home and thought, I can do this better. Somebody needs to do this better. And so that's where my love for nursing came from.
That is a heck of a story. Just growing up in a family, it's just me and my brother. So I could only imagine what kind of psycho I would have been if I had to compete with 7 other folks for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and hugs. But that's
Yeah,
just me, and I
yeah, yeah.
I can say that because there's only us two.
Yes.
Um, but Sherry, you wear a bunch of hats.
I do.
So for the people that may not have seen you the first time, give yourself an introduction and let the
Shoot,
people know
Sherry,
who
this
you
her
are.
third time. It's
No,
Sherry
for
third
sure.
time. Sherry,
I can't count
yeah,
that way.
Sherry, been
Yes, I was with the at the time uniquely well, Great Nation Squads, uniquely sophisticated. Shout out to them. They probably watching. Hi guys. As well as on the podcast. Yes, where we was talking about in health insurance, and me as a finance leader, as well as a life coach, health coach, and again finance leader. So I am Sherry Robinson. I am a certified health coach. I've been in the health wellness arena 25 plus years. Former personal trainer as well as Zumba instructor, 4 years, Pilates instructor, marathon runner, Nike walking and running coach. So I've done a lot. I've been around. So health and wellness, like I said, health, wellness, fitness, wealth, that's my jam. That's my jam.
I can dig it. Like, I joined the army, man. They got all the physical fitness out of me that I'm giving. Uh, I they turned me against exercise and
No.
early. Now I still get up early. I still wake up early. I still, you know, I still have some of that in me, man. But disdain, disdain for running, I think I have that a little bit.
Yeah. I don't do distance like I used to do anymore. I if anything might do a mile or two here and there, but the distance I stopped at years ago.
And, and the
Okay.
best
what
the,
is
the best exercise or the best movement is what you're going to do. So you don't need to run. So that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Yeah. Just move. Any type
that,
of
that
movement.
that's pretty that's pretty dope that you said that, because I think that's one of those misconceptions. People think you have to run. Some people think you gotta, go lift weights or you gotta do something active. But the fact that you just said move simplifies it for people that
Yes.
don't want to move. Like if you
Right.
just move and start something small, people think
Yeah.
you got to get in the gym or go, walk around the block. But sometimes just consistently getting up and down, up and up, down, up and down,
Mhm.
can get you started on a new journey.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And of
Absolutely.
course, deprogramming yourself from society's norms, um, as far as the fast food, the sugary drinks. Those are things that I like. I have an issue with. You feel me? So I get it. I'm trying to work through it now. I'm definitely better with water than I
Okay.
used to be. Um, I still can't front on an ice cold Coca-Cola though, man. Just like sometimes, just to keep me
You keep
sane, I need
pounding
ice
me,
cold
man.
Coca-Cola.
You keep pounding
But
me, man.
where do you start for people that have, and this is to either one of you, where do you start for people that have that programming in that they were raised on pork chops and whatever, like, because those are the things that cause us the most harm um throughout life, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So how do you deprogram, or what do you try to use to motivate people that are in those cycle situations?
Okay. I'll kick it off, Jennifer, and then I'll let you just take over. But I really want to share that 93% of adults in America is unhealthy. Okay. And yes, we do have a major health problem here in the United States. And I like research as well, the facts. So In North Carolina, the adults in North Carolina, we have 1,055,400 adults in North Carolina that was diagnosed with diabetes. And North Carolina has the 13th highest, is the highest state for diabetes in the United States. And what was it? It was in 2024, about 12.4% of adults in North Carolina had was diagnosed with diabetes. So there's a lot happening here that Jennifer and I are on a mission, and I'll just let Nurse Jennifer take us in, and we'll piggyback off of this together, tag team together. And again, thank you for giving us this platform, because this is Holistic Health Week, March 17th through the 21st. So this just fits right in. So thank you, guys.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Yes. So Jaywalking, when I'm consulting with people, I want to find out what your goals are, and finding out, and from you knowing what your goals are. For instance, if you said, so actually, let's just role play. What are some of your health goals? Or give me one health goal that you have that you want to accomplish. Maybe in 2025, or maybe in the next 30 days. Whatever.
Well, for the last 15 years, probably weight loss.
Okay. All right. Why do you want to lose weight? What motivates you to want to lose weight?
So that I'm able to, I'm almost 50 years old. So saying that I'm gonna go hoop like I did when I was 20 is crazy. But just being able to move around and do menial things where stairs are not a problem, trying to hustle through the airport is not an issue, those types of things.
Okay. So that's typically where I start with folks, just learning a little bit about you and those pain points for you. So I'm sure you travel way more than I do, but walking through an airport when you are short of breath, or when you're tired and exhausted, that's not a pretty thing. And especially if you've got delays, right? Now you've got to run.
Right.
And so that's something that's really basic that for sure we'll talk to you afterwards. We can help you with that. But just saying, and then finding out, like, what you want to lose weight, like what is it that you're currently doing to help along that. And then I like to bring awareness. That's one of the first things I said. I've been doing that for 35 years, just bringing awareness, because a lot of people don't know, like the state of why they may be gaining weight. Even me, I used to think that it was the person. Well, some of it is because we get to choose, but some of it is this thing. I'm telling you, this thing has been orchestrated and set on a platter to, it's almost, I hate to use, well, I won't use the words. What's happening in our communities is not necessarily our fault, but we get to choose.
Yeah.
Right. We get to choose how to use that computer that we all have in our hand to get information to say something's not right here. So what can I do? And I heard you talking about the Coke. There's nothing wrong with drinking a Coke, and but you don't want to do that every day. You don't want to do that maybe once a week, and then when you do, you may want to drink a smaller Coke. Because I remember my parents owned a grocery store. The Cokes were like 8 ounces when my parents had a grocery store. The little tiny glass Coca-Cola bottle, like that's what they sold in their store. They were small. Well, now it's like 4 times that. You go into the store and you get a big gulp, and it's huge, and it's all sugar. So I find out what your goals are, what those pain points are for you, and then I start working with you, just providing and helping you realize maybe why you're where you are, and then giving you some simple solutions that you can follow. And so I look at things like the principles, the pillars of health, right? Drinking. What are you drinking? How are you moving your body? What about your sleep? Because that sleep is just like that oil change in your car. And I know you guys got you just look like you got some really dope cars, right? And how do you take care of those? And so we need to do that to our body every single day. You shine it up, you take it into the mechanic to get the oil changed. That's just like us going to sleep at night. So all of those pillars of health. And the biggest thing that we focus on, that Sherry and I focus on, is nutrition. That's the biggest thing that we focus on. And it doesn't have to be complicated. It's very, very, very easy. It's out there for us. It's in our communities. And we're bringing it and making it larger in our communities as the simple things that we can do to help people reverse to be able to lose weight without having to go to something that is going to cause these side effects. And we all know what I'm talking about, right? Everybody's doing this, right? And so we want to do things naturally. I'm plant-based, but you don't have to be plant-based. I'm whole food plant nutrition. So, but everybody doesn't need to be that. But we can be healthy with doing these simple things every single day with consistency. Mm-hmm. It's really not. I was going to ask. It's a mindset.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about. You keep saying simple, and I think that's one thing I have of all my years of hearing people talk about weight loss. I've never really heard the word simple. Mm-hmm. People use the word consistency. People use the word, they reference time, but they never reference being simple. And in this day and age, everything is microwave. So everybody just wants it fast. And it's easy to get discouraged.
Right.
If you don't see results, if others don't see results in you, if, it's just trying to do it as fast as possible instead of as simple as possible. We're always trying to look for the get rich quick, but lose weight quick. So when it comes to the mental health, Sherry, have you seen people feel better and lose weight slower but more consistently than somebody disgruntled and losing weight fast?
I'm sorry, you broke up. What was the question?
Have you seen people be happy and lose weight slow compared to people losing weight fast and just not being happy with themselves?
Oh, I've seen that. Yes, I'm a product of that myself as well. But I too am plant-based. More pescatarian, plant-based as well. So I also was a Weight Watcher leader. So slow and steady wins the race. Nothing is fast. Everyone wants fast, but they're not getting to the root problem, right? Jennifer, you agree? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So therefore, yes, they're going to see those quick, fast results, but is it sustainable? No.
Right.
The side effects, no. It's like you're doing more harm than good, and we're huge on educating. I'm an educator, and we all know that everyone's body is different. What will work for me might not work for you, right? So it's just a matter of those customers getting in tune with their body, what works for them, their lifestyle, their schedule, all of that. It's just a big 360 circle that we have to own ourselves, because it's our life, it's our livelihood, where we can go right into talking about the diabetes. Well, first of all, did I answer your question? Okay, thank you.
You answered it.
Okay, thank you. And we're just going to go right into what Jennifer and I have learned as well. We're going to talk about getting to the root cause. We're looking at, we're talking about diabetes. We're talking about kidney disease. I lost my mom to renal failure. She went from, she didn't go to 1, 2, 3. She went straight to 4. So I immediately, as a caregiver, had to jump in to take care of her, watch a beautiful woman deteriorate right before my eyes from kidney disease. My dad passed away with diabetes, high blood pressure, kidney disease, amputees, Vietnam vet Marine. So I grew up in I'm a Marine's daughter. So, but at the same time, his health tanked. And then we're going to talk, we talk about obesity, migraines, high blood pressure, heart disease, arthritis, the low testosterone, strokes, PCOS for the women, and erectile dysfunction for men. And what we've discovered is all related to insulin resistance. Insulin resistance. So I'll let Nurse Jennifer, you want
Jaywalking, did you have a question?
It was more of a comment, and it'll probably lead back into what you're saying, but well, no, I want you to go ahead. I want you to go ahead from where we are.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the other things is mindset, right? Mm-hmm. I think that's the biggest thing that trips all of us up is our mindset. Mm-hmm. And I heard Carolina Dirt say, you said something about moving too slow or moving too fast and what other people are saying. And so I bring it back to mindset, because we have to realize that you may be a part of a family, you may be part of, you guys are in business together, but you're really walking this alone, right?
Right.
And you can't be accountable for your brother can't be accountable for you, because we're walking this thing alone. And so we've got to protect our minds. And we were talking about mental health earlier. We have to protect our minds, that we don't allow what other people are saying to influence what we know, mm-hmm. right? What we need to do for ourselves. And I think that is so important. And I won't even, you guys have seen it. I'm sure all of you have seen that, where someone may be in pretty poor health, but no one addresses it with them. They may keep saying, "Oh man, you look so good." And right. they may not even be able to walk very well, or you can tell that they're in distress, but we're still saying, "Oh, I really, really like your hair. I like your makeup. Man, I like your suit. You look really, really, really good." And we're not really being truthful with that. Like, are you really loving that person? Are you really loving that person? And I believe that we have to love ourselves before we can even love the next person. Really,
no
truly
question
do.
About that.
Mm-hmm.
No question.
Right. So that comes first. But yeah, so what we see now is 93% of people, this is a global problem, but 93% of people are insulin resistant. This metabolic dysfunction that Sherry mentioned and listed off some of those things. But when you, and this has been this wasn't really discussed when I was in nursing school 35 years ago. But I say this all the time. When I was in nursing school 35 years ago, heart disease, right? Heart disease was the number one cause of death. Mm-hmm. Do either of you know what the number one cause of death is today in the US?
I don't.
Do you know, Carolina Dirt? It's heart disease.
No, I don't know.
Still.
It's still heart disease.
Oh.
Now, what does that tell you? If 35 years ago it was heart disease, and today it's still heart disease.
That we're not
Yeah,
doing, and we're not being taught the right things to prevent.
That's right. One thing that I know that we have more of is new medications. Right? There's more and more and more medications. There's more and more hospitals that are now called, and I say this because here at the University of Florida, we have a brand new hospital called the Cardiovascular Hospital. Like they named it the Cardiovascular Hospital because it still is the #1 cause of death in the US. Which means that there's more to, like, we need to dig a little bit deeper to figure out what that cause is. And thank goodness someone brought it to my plate, someone brought it to Sherry's plate, and our eyes are open. And so the bulk of the problem is this metabolic dysfunction, or if you make it really simple, it's insulin resistance, which you've heard about people having inflammation in their bodies, right? So if you've got a high level of metabolic dysfunction, and we'll call it insulin resistance, or we'll call it inflammation, we can use those interchangeably. If you got it in your brain, it's called, if you got too much inflammation in your brain, it's Alzheimer's disease. If you got too much insulin or too much inflammation in your heart, it's called heart disease. If you got too much of the same in your kidneys, it's called kidney disease. You know,
but and it's so essentially the same issue.
It's correct. It's the same issue. And so even being in healthcare, we've compartmentalized it for years and years and years and years and years. But it's the new research now shows it's all that same culprit, and that culprit is insulin. Too much insulin in our blood system, and our bodies are unfortunately unable to, it's just there because it's not being used because of the state in which our bodies are in. Okay. Now I heard Sherry mention, and we can go more into that. We'd love to come back to do more, but Sherry mentioned her dad just all of a sudden had stage 4 kidney disease. Well, there is no such thing. You don't just go to stage 4. That takes years. Right. So he had stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. But somebody wasn't communicating with him. Who do you think wasn't communicating with him?
Oh, the doctors wasn't with her.
Doctors and the nurses?
Yeah, the doctors and nurses wasn't. Well, the doctors. Yeah.
And I feel like that's a thing too.
It's the doctor's responsibility to communicate.
Right. Like, I always have this thing because I'm Black and I'm proud, and it's 2025. Now I'm willing to be angry and Black and not really unapologetic about it. So when we go to doctors don't listen to people that look like us. You know what I'm saying? That's what I was going to say earlier. It's like, I get it. Systemically, they're not doing anything to help us, man. We got food deserts. The food that's available is trash and full of whatever chemicals. And I think that's the hardest part, especially now with the economy being the way that it is. Everybody is not financially able to do the things that we should do. You know what I'm saying? Eggs are $7, $8. But maybe we shouldn't be eating eggs because we don't know what's wrong with the eggs. It's kind of like, how do you stop? And it's one of my things mentally is you kind of doomed based on your choices, based on recalls, based on the FDA. It's like, I want to do better than what I'm doing, but what good is it going to do if the things that, like, you got listeria in broccoli. Like we get a new recall every day, and
Yeah.
that's part of my mental thing that has me in the situation that I am. So speak to that part of it for us, like the mental part of an uphill climb with, I mean, and I touched a lot of things. Doctors not listening to black folks, food deserts,
Right.
terrible food choices. But how do we reset our brains into finding a better way?
I think one of the first things that's a very good question, and multiple questions and comments. But I think one of the first things you heard me say was that I like to bring awareness, because if we don't know, we don't know. We don't know what we don't know, right? And so if I can help to bring awareness to say, hey, maybe instead of drinking this, why don't we may drink this? And here's some of the reason why. But I love to say this. I love to say that no one's coming to save us. No one's coming to save us. We as people. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And so simple, there is a better way. There really is. I eat very simply, very nutritious, but very simply. I don't spend a lot of money on food. And I like to share that with people. I really do. Because, I'll talk to people and they're like, oh my gosh, you eat everything organic, or, oh my gosh, you, what have you, but I don't spend a lot of money on food. I do not eat out. And I do a little food prep to show people how to eat more economically, how to food prep so that you don't, you're in the car from work and there's a flashing light somewhere on the side of the road, some restaurant or whatever. You pull in there, you spend $20, and by the time you get home, you've got indigestion. You can't go to bed because you just don't feel good because that food is so horrible for us. I was looking, I have a hamburger and French fries here on my bookshelf that's 3 years old. And it looks the same when I purchased it. Yeah. Because of all the fillers and all the pesticides and all the hormones and things that are in that food, it smells horribly, but it looks as if, and I'll take it with me sometimes when I'm speaking, and I'll ask, and people will say, oh, it's a week old. Oh, you bought it this morning. And I'm like, no, like this is 2 years old. This is almost 3 years old. So bring awareness and education, Jaywalk, and I think that's where it starts, because and one of the other things I said was take your health back. We can't expect someone who we just can't expect other people to care more for us than we care for ourselves.
And our bodies
we just can't. And yeah.
And our bodies, as Jennifer, as we know, is not designed to be eaten all the time as well.
Right.
No,
I definitely understand that. What part of it? Well, I mean, you've said it. You have to be willing to make those changes yourself. You have to be able to see your way out of habits, I guess. Because you get stressed, you late for work, or you late coming home from work, and we use all these things to justify bad choices. So,
but I was going to hit on also another deter is, growing up, our parents used to talk about sugar and cholesterol and blood pressure and all that. But then when you get of age, the other problem is people don't want to use their health insurance to find out if something's wrong. And then with the high cost of insurance and doctor visits, especially if something's out of your network, it just discourages people from getting a simple checkup to be aware if anything's wrong. Jennifer, do you see that also as a bigger problem in the future, the way the economy is going?
Yes, absolutely. We're facing, and I'll just say it. I call our healthcare system a sick care system. I work in it every day, and because the system isn't designed. You know, my 17-year-old grandson is with me, and my grandson said yesterday, I won't invite him in here, but he said yesterday to me, we were riding in the car, and he said, Nana, insurances. He was talking about the United Healthcare president that was killed, right? Just out of the blue, he started speaking about it. And he said, you know, people are angry. And I said, what do you think people are angry about? He says, insurances don't help people with prevention of care. This came from a 17-year-old.
Right.
And I said, no, they don't. That's the part that's missing, because no one makes money when a person is healthy.
There's no money in the cure.
And I can scream it from the rafters for our people. But there is something called healthcare disparities. And Jay Walken, you mentioned that. Healthcare disparities is real. It's real. When I go to work every single day, it's there. I advocate for my patients that are have melanin in their skin, or black and brown. And I'll say, hey, we refer John to, you know, whomever. Why are we not referring this person? You know, like I call that out. But healthcare disparity is real. But I also see that our people feel intimidated when they go and sit before someone with a white coat on, with a stethoscope around their neck, because I think some of it is historical, and that we don't want to appear like we don't know what we don't know, because I do work in health in healthcare literacy as well. Even for me, sometimes I'll have to say to my providers, I was like, listen, I don't know what you're talking about. I need you to give it to me in a third grade level so I can understand it. But what I typically see is, hey, people do this. When the doctor's talking, they're doing this. Well, let me tell you, when you're doing that in front of a doctor, he's assuming that you understand what he's saying or what she's saying. And they're going to keep it rolling. And I'm only one person, but I come behind, because, you know, my patients will call me the next day, like, what is it I'm supposed to do? And, you know, I go back to my providers and they're like, well, they were nodding their head. And I'm like, how many times have I said, you know, we have to let people tell us back what they've learned, but that doesn't happen. And it happens even less for people that look like us.
Right. It's definitely, like you said,
I know it's happened to me.
Yeah. I think if people would put more, for myself, just to give you an example of me, I come from a preventative standpoint. I think Sherry does as well. So I don't have copays to doctor's offices. I don't have prescription, because I paid up front, if you know what I mean, right? And I'm not saying that I never will. If something does come, I want it to come when I'm 100, not when I'm at my age. But
I know that's
we're gonna pay. We're gonna pay, and I want to encourage our people to pay up front and not pay later, because you're gonna pay one way or the other. And I don't want to pay with an amputation like Sherry's dad, or on dialysis 3 days a week. You talk about lifestyle change. That's a complete lifestyle change.
Yeah.
So we come from a place of, let's take control of your health. You take control of your health. I can scream it from the rafters. Let us help you. That's what we do in our community to help people. Simple. It is rare. If you can drink liquids, you can drink our nutraceutical, which is a plant-based product, and we can help you reverse your diseases. We don't tell people to get off medications. We tell them to go work with their providers to do that. But people are.
So I'm going to take a chance to take an opportunity to ask. You said a nutraceutical.
Yes.
And it is plant-based. I get.
Yes.
What is it like? What is in it that would help us? What is the benefits of drinking? What's the benefit of drinking a nutraceutical, and what are the contents outside of the broader plant-based description?
So there's many nutraceuticals that are out there. For instance, like oils, and there's some teas, and there's other many nutraceuticals or plant-based medicine. And the other thing I want to say, that I'm gonna let Sherry speak to that, but the other thing is, most of the medication that's on the market that is synthetically made, it was derived from plants. They've just gone in and altered it, and in a lab, and took out the natural products and tried to, because no one can patent an apple, right? Because they're not going to make any money on that. You can't write a prescription for that. So, Sherry, you want to talk about what's in our nutraceuticals or plant-based?
So
I've spoken a lot, and I don't want to do that.
How are we doing on time, guys?
We're fine. We're
good. So we do have and share a product out there. It's two products. One practice that is giving amazing results, I should say. And Jennifer, you want to circle back around about our natural GLP?
Yeah. So there's something out there that's called the physician's desk reference, and I would encourage you, if you have your phone in front of you, you can pull your phone out and pull it up. Just it's pdr.net. You can pull it up on your phone, and if you're out there listening in cyber world, pull it up as well. So if you go to pdr.net, which is the physician's desk reference, or it's now, because it's digital now, but when I was in nursing school, it was a 6-inch blue book that we had to flip through to look at our medications and to look at the side effects, and that's what the doctors use. That's what the nurses use to see what was counteractive or what medicines. Yes, that's it. That's it. So any medication, I don't know if you're on a medication. So if I'm not asking you to say it on here, but if you take a medication or know someone in the family that takes a medication, you can put that medication inside of that reference there and search it, and it'll tell you what is it prescribed for, what the side effects are of it, and what the black box warning is on it. And those are things that you want to know. So our products, the two products that are in our system that we're talking about, this Feel Great system, the two products that we use are in that PDR, and it's in the PDR as a nutraceutical. And one is called, can we say it online? Can we say the name?
Yeah.
Are you asking us?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh yeah. We are all about providing information.
Okay. We want them to circle back to Sherry though. We just got a message here from someone. That looks like my friend.
Oh, hi, Johnny. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't read that right from here, but I'm going to go into what our protocol is.
But let me give them the name. So the nutraceutical one is called, if you've ever heard of the yerba mate plant, or yerba mate. Okay, it's a couple thousand years old, originally from South America. It's known in South America as the drink of the gods. And so, and so everybody seems to know about that except us in the US. But anyway,
yeah.
So,
yeah.
So that's the one product, and it's a tea. It's an extract from that plant. Again, we're plant-based. An extract from that plant, with a lot of research on there. A physician that you may want to look at his book is Dr. Ben Bikman, Bikman. He has a wonderful book, Why We Get Sick. I would highly suggest people to read that book. But and in that book, he talks about the underlying of diseases that we face right now in the U.S. that is plaguing our community. And so that Unamante, we talked about mood. So one of the things that's in this extract tea is a chlorogenic acid, and that chlorogenic acid is a mood stabilizer. So if nothing else, I'm not on any medication. I just wake up like this every day, and I've been up since 5 this morning in the gym, right? And so it's a mood stabilizer. And then there's many other really good things that are in that tea extract. And one is called theobromine, and the theobromine helps to dilate our blood vessels. And when we dilate our blood vessels, your blood pressure is going to come down.
Yeah.
So it helps with blood pressure. And then Sherry's going to talk about our fiber. And so there's many other aspects of this yerba mate tea, but you can find it in the PDR. So just search for Unicity.
Oh, see you. I can spell most things now.
That's okay.
Big words.
That's okay. I dropped it.
That's okay. You guys reach out to Sherry. Reach out to Sherry.
I dropped it in the link in there for you.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
Wheel of Fortune, a Jeopardy or something.
I'll spin the wheel, Alex. Oh, go ahead.
We have a prize. We have a prize for you. Yeah. So,
but overall, our protocol, it's just 2 products. Is one practice for amazing results, and again, it is our tea, which we're gonna sip on throughout the day, right? First thing in the morning. Yeah, and believe me, it once you start it, you get in the habit of eliminating breakfast. You just will over time if you've been consistent with it. And then we have our fiber. Okay. And our fiber is a gel. So this you will put in water. It also comes with a cool diamond bottle here, and you will put it in, like the line is here. It'll tell you. You're going to shake it up really fast, and you're going to tug it like you're doing a shot, right?
Okay.
And I'm sure
I'm good at doing shots.
But
great at doing shots.
This is the fiber. This is going to also help you feel full faster. And if you're eating carbs, it's also going to slow that process down. So, all right. So pretty much we're looking at some time-based habits, eating habits, right? Where you're gonna fast, right? This one, the fiber, you're gonna take at your biggest meal, your largest meal that you have, right? And then you're just gonna sip the tea, right? And there you have it. So that's our protocol. So when we said simple, on the go, simple, shake and go, here we go.
No, that definitely sounds better than a lot of stuff that I've heard. So is this something that you guys are set up that is ordered from you, or are there different locations that you can purchase a similar type of product, or is this the definitive product or a definitive product?
So our products are directly from the manufacturer, and you get our discount. I pay the same price that I would share. We share our link with people that we're working with, and then you get the same price that I spend for my own. And then that is a lifetime membership that you have to get it at the very lowest price. Yes. But I wanted to share something with you. This is one of our research studies, and it says such a product, they're talking about our products. It says such a product taken regularly could reduce cardiovascular risk on a population basis and potentially decrease the need and dose of lipid lowering prescription drugs. So yes.
Like your Modernas, Ozempics and things like that.
The statins. So we're talking about the lipid lowering drugs. So all of those statins for people that are on high cholesterol. And remember, those, remember I said the leading cause of death 35 years ago and today is the same, which is heart disease. But most of those people that are taking or who've had heart attacks or who have cardiovascular disease, they're on a statin. They're on a statin medication. And so this research says that our product, if taken on a population basis, is proven just to work just as well as a prescription synthetic statin.
Well, there you have it. Minus the other additional chemicals and additives.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And from a plant with no side effects.
I've seen people promote the mushroom coffee or the anything with apple cider vinegar in it. What are some of the misconceptions of stuff like that? Of these aren't quick remedies, but like you said, the ones that replace the meals. I wouldn't suggest someone use apple cider vinegar to replace a meal. There are wonderful benefits of apple cider vinegar. I use apple cider vinegar occasionally, not on a daily basis, for me to maintain my health. That's instead of using mega doses of GLP-1, and that's what people are using. This is what Johnny is our friend. And he was just commenting on those mega doses of GLP-1. So what our products do, do you guys know what GLP-1 even is? Do you
Only
know what
from the
that
commercials.
is?
I don't have an accurate answer. Only what I see in commercials.
Right. And man, aren't those commercials, people are floating through the air and with their GLP-1.
And there's 75 of them. There's 75 different ones.
Yeah. And then they get to the very end of the commercial, and I don't watch TV, but I've seen a few, and they speak really fast so you can't understand anything that they're saying. But GLP-1 is glycogen like peptide. Yes, glycogen like peptide. And so so all of us are born with that in our gut. But what has happened is that over time, with our diets high, with all the fiber stripped out of our diets, and then high fat and high salt and high sugar diets, that our own natural GLP-1 doesn't work very good in our own guts. And that's that thing that gets triggered on, that God gave us, that gets triggered on to say, okay, you've had enough food. That turns off that food thing. So what the shots do, those semaglutide medications and all of that, when people take that, it turns it off, but it turns it off in the dosages that they use is very high. And then, at those high doses of turning, they're giving you the GLP-1. What our products do is it helps to stimulate the GLP-1 that's already in our gut. That's the difference. Okay. But when you give that GLP-1 at high doses, that's when you see, and you can go to the website and see all of the different class action lawsuits and things like that people are experiencing. But, you know, people get sick. We even have people in our community who've gotten sick, who've gotten off and had to stop taking. And so we see cancers and things like that some, and I won't say that they are but some people in my community, as far as physicians, believe that some of that is related to that. But we know that there could be a lot of side effects. But one of the main side effects of people taking those shots is they lose muscle mass, muscle and bone mass. Like up to 40% of your muscle mass is lost when you take those shots.
And they're not very good. Right. They don't speak very loudly or clearly about that.
Right. And there's plenty of young people now that I've seen that folks will send me that are exposing some of this and saying that they, you know, 27-year-old, this was one that I just saw recently, a 27-year-old that was just diagnosed. She was on one of the shots for a little over a year. She now has osteoporosis and she's 27. Like, that shouldn't be heard of. But anyway, long story short, so what our product does is it stimulates our own natural GLP-1 in our guts to help take the food noise away. Now, anyone can fast. Our products are just a tool to help you to do that. I've fasted in my life and it didn't last very long because we get hungry, you know. Right. And but this is a tool. Our product and protocol is a tool to help you to fast. And then I was just doing some research recently, and we're not protein deficient in the US. Like, very few people are protein deficient. We're fiber deficient because the fiber is what has been stripped out of our food, right? We've got white rice, white bread,
I was going to ask you about that.
Yes. So all of that has been stripped out. But if you think about it, anything that God has put on the earth as far as plants, he made it, surrounded, or inside of it, it has fiber. But the fiber has been stripped away. And a lot of research now that is being done, and that's why we get to this metabolic dysfunction, is they're saying that that's part of the problem because we're not protein deficient. Even though, I mean, I hear people all the time, I need to get in more protein, but we're not protein deficient. We are fiber deficient. And when you take out that fiber because that's what helps to keep our blood sugars down, to help to keep our cholesterol levels to a moderate level and keep our bodies in homeostasis. And when that doesn't happen, then we end up metabolically dysfunctioned or insulin resistant because our blood sugars are all over the place.
What's so crazy is I just did a 14-week weight loss class that was offered through Veterans Affairs. And they didn't talk about any of the things that you talked about.
Wow.
For 14 weeks, an hour a week.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
And
that's crazy.
Wow.
It's like, you know, they discredited a lot of the information that Dr. Sebi put out. I hate to be that type of guy. It's like, it's still on us to go look for the information, but also they do a good job of omitting that information. Like, I have more of an understanding in this conversation about weight loss and the effects of sugar and starches and salt than I had in 14 weeks of a weight loss. It was primarily about weight loss. So I don't know. This has been a very enlightening conversation, to say the least.
Thank you.
Sharon, give me 3 of your favorite breakfast options, because you know they always say breakfast is you know most important important meal of the day. I think that's a thing where people get caught up into the Nutri-Grain bars or the cereals or the biscuits. What
quick
are
things.
your alternatives as far as getting your day started off with the health breakfast? Yeah, something they can just slap together and jump in the car.
Well, and then also we've learned that is a that's oh, sorry, I think she dropped off her. Yeah, she dropped off. Yeah.
We'll bring her back in if she.
Yeah. So that what we learned also with the breakfast is you might, once you start a system, you might not need the breakfast. However, if it is something that you look into while you in transition, sometime it could be a boiled egg. Did I hear somebody say something about an egg earlier? Oh, maybe
Yeah, I
that's
was just talking about egg prices.
High prices.
That's probably Jennifer with the boiled egg. Boiled egg, egg whites, scrambled egg. Oh, you got to, if you say it on the go, right? The smoothie, sometimes a smoothie, but don't forget the smoothies have a lot of sugar. They're going to have a lot of sugar, which can help you throughout the day. Okay, but you got to be mindful. I used to eat a lot of fruit. I am a fruit and vegetable girl, but as far as like the bananas and all that stuff, once I learned about the more and more about the metabolic health, the sugar and stuff, I'm very, very mindful now with that. For me, peanut butter on a cracker or something. But yeah, I just the bars have a lot of sugar in it. Even if you turn it over, you can see the amount of sugar in those bars. So that's already going to spike up the insulin in your body already. And it just keeps it going all throughout the day. So that's for breakfast. A lot of prepping sweet potatoes. Put them in little containers to go. I'm
not a big breakfast eater.
No.
But
no.
Again, it's about.
See, I'm not either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's part of like one of my issues is I don't eat immediately most of the time. You know what I'm saying? I wait until it's like, oh, I'm starving now. But I don't wake up like, you know what, I got to make breakfast right now. If there's breakfast available, I'm going to eat it. But it's not something that's on my mind.
Right.
And I think I push myself into making those bad decisions because I haven't done anything to sustain myself until it's too late.
Mm.
But what you guys are, the information that you are providing and the products that you kind of put us on, you know, made us hip to, I can make that make sense.
What? I'm sorry, I was kicked off. What was the question? Were you asking things about eating?
Breakfast.
Okay.
Right.
So we
that age-old adage that breakfast is the most important meal of the day.
Who decided that?
Yeah.
I think it was Kellogg or what's one of the other breakfasts.
The same people that said milk does your body good.
Right.
Yeah.
So what we promote, the way that I coach is I want you to skip breakfast because God told us, I'm a Christian, so I'm sorry if you're not, but God told us to fast. Fasting is biblical. And so if we put our bodies in a fasted state, then we've got something called ketones. Our brains, if you want to think clearer and better, you want to fast. And so if you go to bed at night and then you put off a couple hours in the morning and not eat, and you get anywhere from 12, 14, 16 hours of a fast, you're going to feel better. You're going to operate better. You're going to save money because you've taken out that breakfast. And so because when you wake up in the morning, or at night when we're sleeping, our insulin level is low and our glucose level is low. That's what we want. Now you can burn your own fat while you're sleeping. Isn't that cool? Yeah. And that's what we want. So we don't want breakfast. Unless, if you work shift work and you work at night, then that things may be a little bit different. But if you got regular hours like most of us, yeah, it just extend that fast when you wake up in the mornings, and then eat lunch, and then no snacking. Because remember, every time you're not putting food in your mouth, your insulin levels and your glucose levels are low. That's what you want. So then you're going to eat lunch.
See, that kind of contradicts what people say when they say, it kind of contradicts when people say they just eat 5 small meals a day, or they eat, and then at 6 o'clock in the afternoon they don't eat, and that's when they do their fasting. Like, that's the thing. Like, everybody's coming up with their ideas. I know my doctor. He asked me. He was like, he always asked me if I eat breakfast. I always tell him no. He was like, nah, you gotta get your breakfast in. So it's like so many people have so many different ideas. Like you said, everybody's body structure is different. But I'm thinking I'm doing good, but he's like, I'm not intaking enough to start losing weight, or to motivate my body to lose weight. And I kind of understood what he was saying. He's like, when I eat, since I don't eat that often, it's like my body's just storing whenever I eat, it's just storing it. But there was times years ago I would do 15 miles a day at work, and I'm still weighing over 300 pounds. And that's active 15 miles a day at work in a 10-hour shift. I don't do that job anymore now, but even back then, he would be like, your blood pressure's high, your cholesterol's high, you're not diabetic, but are you eating breakfast? And I'd be like, no, I'm waking up, I'm driving to work, I'm doing work. I might drink a glass of water. I don't eat dinner until that night. He was like, nah, you got to break up and have some smaller meals throughout the day. Did it work? No. I'm still big as shit, but it
give, I believe in asking for what we want, and I don't know you all at all, but I know I can hear your heart. And as long as you're, and I'll say this, and I'm not going to contradict your position, but I'm going to say it this way. As long as you're putting food in your mouth, you're increasing your glucose and you're increasing your insulin. That's not me, that's research. If your insulin is high and your glucose is high, you are not going to lose weight. Period. That's just not going to happen. So imagine 5 meals a day. So if you ate breakfast, your glucose level is going to go up, but your insulin level is also going to go up, and your insulin level is going to stay up for about 4 hours. But so let's say you ate breakfast at 9. Imagine this in your head. You ate breakfast at 9, and then by 11, based on what you ate for breakfast, you're hungry again, right? Is that kind of normally how it goes? Or if somebody said eat 5 meals a day, right? So you're eating again, but what's still high? Because it's only been 2 hours. Your insulin is still high. Yeah, your glucose that insulin level is still high. And remember, as long as your insulin level is high, you're not going to burn fat at all. So now it's lunchtime. 2 hours later, 1 o'clock, it's lunchtime. Your insulin level is still up from the snack, and you're eating again. And then 3 o'clock, because I think most people, from what I hear and what I see, most people are eating an afternoon snack before they leave to go home in the afternoon. So that insulin level is still up. You're still not burning fat all day long. I don't care what you're doing. You're not, it's just not going to happen. And then you go home and you're going to eat dinner.
Which is normally your biggest meal of the day.
Yeah. And that insulin level has been up all day. You are not going to burn any fat. You are not going to, We say when we're fasting in the mornings, when I'm fasting in the morning, I'm burning love handles, And so,
I got some big handles.
You got luggage handles.
Not for long if we can help you. Not for long. Not for long if we can help you. No.
No, you guys, and we're gonna go ahead and get ready to close up, man. But I definitely want you guys to come back because this is a conversation that needs to be had.
Okay.
Like I said, being prior military, and going through this, like I'm so thrown off by that, and I think that's where you kind of cut out, Jennifer. Is like I went through a weight loss weekly meeting course, whatever you want to call it, and they didn't talk about any of the things that we talked about. I understand more about losing weight in this hour and a half conversation than I did in a 14-week class, an hour to 14 hours of talking about weight loss.
Yeah.
And there's got to be some kind of agenda for that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That people are not being educated about things that can actually save their life, and they're not complicated, so that's the most mind-blowing part about this entire hour and change that we just spent.
Yeah.
It's so simple that it just kind of goes over most people's head. But again, I've been doing this for 35 years, and so I knew fasting was good, but for me, I needed some tools to help me. I could do 2 or 3 days of 16-hour fast, but to do that sustainably for 4 or 5 months, I couldn't, because I just felt like I was hungry all the time, and then I wasn't getting enough fiber. And
Right.
Caroline and Dirk, you said something really important about not eating enough calories. So our protocol, we don't put you on there's no diet. You eat whatever you want to eat. You just can't snack. And we ask you not to eat breakfast. We ask you to extend that fast, whatever you
do that.
When you drink your fiber and you want to sit down and eat a 12-ounce steak, go right ahead and do that. But
that fiber ain't gonna send me straight to the bathroom.
Huh?
That fiber ain't gonna send me straight to the bathroom when I'm done. Now I gotta be in public places now. I gotta be in public places.
No.
I don't like no noise except for the noise I'm making. I don't want no noise in there. I gotta be to myself.
You don't want nobody asking you for toilet paper underneath the stall.
Well,
I will say, Jaywalking, thank you so much for your service.
yes, absolutely. Thank you.
I didn't hear you say that while we were in the middle of talking, and I did want to say thank you so much for your service. We really appreciate that. And I just want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart for allowing me to come on, because you clearly are friends with Sherry, but allowing me to come on here. So
no, absolutely. And like I said, it's 93%.
Oh yeah.
It's a message that needs to be shared.
Yeah.
And again, the way that you guys have explained it, you did use a lot of medical terminology, but you also were able to answer the questions that I had. So you're right. People get intimidated by doctors. You already don't want to go to the appointment. You already don't know about, you want to take my blood, you want to take my urine, you want to wipe out the inside of my nose, and then you want to come back and say a bunch of $100 words that I don't understand, and I just want to leave.
Yeah.
Right.
So you kind of have to, meet people where they are and give them that confidence. And you guys are doing God's work more than you know by having these conversations and providing that information.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So did you guys have a final thought that you wanted to say before we got up out of here?
I will. Again, this is the protocol, just these 2 right here, and then the little bottle that it comes with. Safe and natural, cost neutral, guaranteed, and we are in 50 plus countries right now. So yeah. And my link is in your link. So you'll see that once we're done. And again, thank you guys so much. We appreciate this time.
Absolutely. Hey, and for the men that run across this video, man, don't let it escape you. She did say, that this stuff can help you with erectile dysfunction. You know what I'm saying? I was gonna say that earlier, but we was being serious.
Yep.
That's an important thing for some of us. Is what I say.
Yeah.
Keep you stand straight up.
And that needs to be talked about.
Yeah.
That does need to be talked about from you all, because guys look a little sideways, but because I know, if you told me a medication that you're on or a disease that you have, I already know what's happening. You know what I mean? Like, or what's not happening. But I'm okay with that because it's part of life. God wants us to enjoy that part of life. And so it's important that people are good in that way. And so this absolutely does. We've been on calls where guys have cried, sharing their story on what this protocol has done for them and their spouses. I mean, I'm serious about that.
Yeah.
So I do want to.
We don't need the logo. We might have to start marketing y'all. We might need y'all logo. We'll start blasting every so often on the
Let's go.
So can I share my last words, please?
Indeed.
I know we're. So there's two things that I want. I want to just say again, thank you so much. I really appreciate both of you. I can hear your hearts, and I know you want better for your own health. And I say, take your health back into your own hands starting tonight. And then I want to invite you all just to jump, not to hear you two, not to hear from me or Sherry, but if you guys would promise us over the next week, you'll jump on a call and just hear it from some other experts. Hear this message from other experts, and then tell us what you think.
Yeah.
That is not too much to ask.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I shouldn't eat this ice cream that I got upstairs.
So silly.
I think if you're gonna eat it, I think you should enjoy it. No, I think you should enjoy it if you're gonna eat it. Absolutely.
Now, Sherry knows not to take us too seriously, man. We
Yeah.
But no, I really appreciate this entire thing, and it does give me a lot to process and a lot to think about. Carolina, what you got for the people?
Definitely appreciate Sherry reaching out doing this show. So Sherry, you actually abide by all the rules that we've told every other guest. If you want to come back, just let us know. And Sherry has said, hey, I need back on so and so. So awesome. Appreciate you. So we can set up another one where we come back and deep dive into more. I thought it was a dope conversation. Some of the stuff I've already done and I haven't seen results. So that's where the mental part comes in. Some of it is, like y'all said, you go into the doctor's office, white coat, stethoscope. In my mind, obviously he's right. I'm wrong because I've been fat all my life and he's trying to tell me how to not to be fat. So he's right. Some of it is the copays, the insurances. But when it all comes down to it, is just my mental. I just have to get my mental right for when it comes to my own personal health. My mental's right for other stuff, but when it comes to my personal health, I kind of take a step back and just listen to everybody and just take stuff in when it's not helping me. Like I need to figure out what I think can work and just focus on that and see if it works instead of just saying, it ain't gonna work. But once again, Jennifer, I totally appreciate you. You said a lot of big words, a lot of words with a lot of letters. You can definitely come back on, but we have to shorten your words. We have to shorten your words. You can talk. We have to shorten your words.
Less vowels. Less
just remember, simple, and you can do it. And you've got two beautiful women to help you. You really do. Like
I love that part.
Okay.
You're stuck. Like you guys are stuck with me. So I don't know. You're stuck with me now. So we can help you. We're here to walk with you. Truly, like seriously.
Well,
no,
we definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, we're gonna do this again because I don't feel like enough people have heard it. So for you to make me understand as thick as skull as I have, I know we can make some other people understand. Yes. So I appreciate you ladies for your time and your expertise, and your spirit, and y'all just glowing personalities, man. This is the BOTB Live Show. I'm Jay Walker. That's Carolina Dirt. Special shout out and thanks to Jennifer and Sherry. Take your life back. And like I always say before I end the show, love the people who love you back. Y'all be easy. Have a good night.
Good
Thank
night.
you.